Hopkins, none of those guys. I was never schemed into things. I made things happen throughout my career. I'm Mr. 73. They had Jason Witten as their #1, so Jerry is right, end quote. Gentlemen at the breakfast table, whether or not Des Bryant was a #1 wide receiver, the fact remains the Cowboys offense cannot get anything done, much done, right now, and they're getting set to host the Jaguars, who are going to be looking to rebound on Sunday night. What is the biggest problem with this team?
For the first time since Jerry bought the team, I feel like the Cowboys have a branding problem. This is like
Peter,
marketing
always
101.
going to the brand.
Let's go to business school.
What's up, Ravel?
Let's go.
Supply versus demand.
Darren Ravel here. Hello. You think about what the Cowboys are as a brand. They're America's team. There's this whole thing. They've been on primetime television several times. They've had 2 nail-biting finishes to the end, and neither one of those games moved the needle at all. This is not a sexy team anymore. It is not a team with any sizzle. It is not a team you care to watch. It's run the ball, pound of dirt, and then a cloud of dust, and then let's hope to win by a field goal in the end. There's nothing special about this Cowboys team. So, yes, right now they're hanging in there, and they're 2-2, or they're 2-3. 2-3, right? They look like an 8-8 team, and I almost feel like with the Cowboys, going back to when Jerry bought, it's almost like even when they had Quincy Carter and Dave Campo, it was like either be great or take a swing and
they
be
run Hard Knocks that year.
Yeah, and let's be something next year. Like, I don't know where this team is as far as talk about watchability. Okay, this might be in the bottom third of the league watchability, and they're on primetime every night. They're just not a fun team to watch. They're not a cool team to watch. They're certainly not America's team in an era with McVay and Sean Payton and Matt Nagy
and the Browns.
And the Browns, like the Cowboys. You talk about the Cowboys, and my meter, and that's not good for Jerry, and that's not good for Cowboys Nation.
You know, I love that you mentioned those coaches, because that kind of leads me to my point in that tweet. He mentioned I was never schemed into things, and I feel like the Cowboys offense, they need to scheme more. I'm not going to say better as if there's just a lack of offense, because we've seen some good things at times. And this is a call out to Linehan, who's my former coach. This is a call out to the head coach, Garrett. This is a call out to that team saying, let's be more creative. You just mentioned McVay, Nagy, Bieniemy, Andy Reid, all these different coaches, McDaniels, that are pulling things from other coaching staffs and game plans and creating it. We say it all the time. It's a copycat league, and I think for people at home, it sounds very cliche. What? It's a copycat league? What does that mean? That means if something is working, then do that and exaggerate it. I saw a little bit of that, and we're watching it right here, the creativity, and you're seeing them going for first downs, them mixing it up a little bit, motions in the backfield, putting Beasley in the backfield, Austin going in opposite direction. That right there shows creativity. And in this league, whether you think all of that is a flash in the pan or it's gadget or it's high school, college football, if you're a coach in the NFL, you're saying, I'm a traditionalist. I'm not going to run that type of offense. Well, guess what? You're behind. Just like somebody who's wearing bell-bottoms and got a jerry curl. He's behind on the fashions. You guys need to catch up, man. Get some form-fitting offenses that accentuates your features. That's exactly what you have to do. What's your features on your offense? If you got speed, you got a running back, you got a quarterback that can move around, let's spice it up a little bit. Copy some of these other teams and pull from the game plans, baby.
No, it's not Jerry Curl, it's Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones, that's what it is.
You know how hard it is to have a band that's only 2 members? They have a pretty cool lead singer, and they got this other great guy who's on drums. Hall Notes, great singers, but they got a million keyboardists and everything behind them. I mean, back in the day, the White Stripes used to do as a great band called Local H, just had 2, but it's very, very rare. I looked it up. What was the last time that a team after 5 games has had the NFL's leading rusher and a 2-3 record? Because that is not a great stat. It was actually 2013. It was LaShawn McCoy on the Eagles. It was the Nick Foles year when they actually rallied to get to 11-5 because crazy things happened and this quarterback caught fire. I'm looking at the Dallas Cowboys. We played 5 games. They don't have anybody on their team who has 200 yards receiving. Nobody, not a tight end, not a receiver, which means they don't have anybody averaging 40 yards per game in the greatest passing era of all time when all records are being broken and Pat Mahomes this. Not even 40 yards a game. So Zeke is there, Dak is there. They're pretty good. They're a pretty good band. We got to have somebody with a guitar or a bass drum or something like that. There's no, where is Hearns? Where is Beasley? Where is Gathers? Where is all those guys? Those are the reasons they're good because Dak and Zeke are pretty good. The rest of the band just isn't there.
I love a guitar.
I love a guitar too. I'll take it right now.
I don't need a guitar. I need a wide receiver. Am I the only one that thinks that the problem that they had going into the season is the one that is their problem? Jane Slater, they kept telling her, and she's had her ear on the ground, they're going to be okay. They don't need a #1 wide receiver. Yes, you do. Even teams that don't have a dominant, elite, like A.J. Green, DeAndre Hopkins level wide receiver, you have Julian Edelman, even though you have Gronk there. You have Cooper Kupp as the guy who's getting all the targets. For them right now, that's Cole Beasley. So I look at it, and it's the same thing I thought when we were in Dallas at the draft, and no disrespect to Vander Esch, he's been great.
Playing well.
But to me, you passed up up 7. That was 7 picks before Calvin Ridley was taken by the Falcons. Calvin Ridley has more receiving touchdowns, gentlemen, than the entire Cowboys team, including Zeke, including their tight ends. That is crazy. Courtland Sutton, the number 3 wide receiver in Denver. He's neck and neck with the Cowboys wide receiver 1, Cole Beasley, in numbers. These are guys that I was shocked when I was watching the draft unfold were not taken by the Cowboys. And of course, you look at Courtland Sutton, I said, like, I think this is going to be a regret for the Cowboys. And this kid was drafted in the early second round.
Local kid at SMU made a lot of sense.
I understand that, Witten was the guy. Des is even admitting that he was the number 1. When he leaves, you have to address that issue, or somebody's got to step up. And Nate, you were so brilliant in saying, like, somebody take the opportunity, but because of the scheme and the lack of creativity and just the personnel, it's not working right now.
And if the Cowboys fans are waiting for it to suddenly click, like, I don't see that happening. There hasn't been signs for Michael Gallup that he's that guy.
It's not early anymore.
Allen Hurt. And then I said this, Cowboys Twitter and Cowboys fans, they love this Rico Gathers, who was on practice squad for 2 years and played basketball at Baylor.
Where's Rico?
We want Rico Gathers.
One catch.
Finally had a catch last week. He's not Jason Witten.
I know.
It's okay. They didn't replenish. Like, they lost and they didn't replenish. And then the offense can't just always be Zeke, because that's how you lose 16-13 on Sunday night to the Texans.
But they do have Zeke. And in this division, where we're making the same argument for the Eagles, who have not looked great either, they easily could make the playoffs.
But that's the thing. All 4 of these teams can simply be in a home playoff game in a couple of months.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens tomorrow night, of course, Thursday Night Football.